Welcome back. It is Wednesday, March 20th in the NBA. My five best bets are on the way. It's Austin joined by Logan. Let's recap yesterday, a 1-2 day. Really felt like we deserved a 2-1 at worst, but let's talk about it. The daily double, day one, cashed. I don't know if the name change helped, but hey, it certainly looked like it did as it cashed in the third quarter. We'll have day two later on today. And then Logan and I's individual picks just did not fall through. Miles Bridges is over in points. Only had 2 in the first half. Ended up turning it on in the third. I think he ended with like 15 or 16 points, but he obviously didn't come through. And then Logan's Mavs Spurs pick. At one point, the live bet for Logan's game was 247.5 after the first quarter. The second half was an absolute disaster class. I mean, you're not going to cash an over when Luka and Wemby, the two best players for their respective teams, combined for what? What is it? Logan, 6 for 35, 36. It was terrible. I mean, nothing you can do there. 1-2 day. I dialed in. Hopefully, we can absolutely get these picks back on track. And obviously, we have some MLB picks starting up. Logan and I are watching the Dodgers and Padres game on a separate screen over here. Hopefully, the Padres come through. But either way, let's talk about our favorite picks of the day. I'm going to start with my best bet of the day. This is one that I really like, and we're going to dive right into it. It's going to be Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons over 21.5 points. This was minus 120 on BetMGM. I expect it to move to 22.5. Probably close there. I don't mind that for Cade Cunningham today, and I really do think he's in for a good spot at home, taking on the Pacers. Now, we've talked about Cade, and we've honestly been pretty good on Cade props the last, pretty much all season long. And while he does see some minutes fluctuations here and there, I think he's in for a good game, and I don't expect him to be on a minutes restriction tonight. Now, Cade is actually under this line in 3 straight games, scoring 19, 11, and 17 points. Now, in those games, field goal attempts were still there, 20, 15, and 19 shots. So he's still shooting enough. I mean, if we get 20 shots from Cade, I'll take my chances. But he's played below his season, shot below his season average in all 3. And it was against Toronto, a team that has been pretty decent against guards all year. They kind of trapped guards, but against Miami twice. I mean, no one was expecting Cade to go over against Miami, one of the best defenses in the league. Now, we look at him, like I said, is a much better matchup against the Pacers. Let's be honest, the Pacers, do they play a lot of defense? No, not really. And they're going to let the opposing stars, number one, go up and just score points against them. We know what the Pacers, the only thing they do well defensively is limit catch and shoot threes. And you think about the guys that the Pistons kind of trot out there, a lot of catch and shoot three guys. And they're also banged up. Thompson is out. Quentin Grimes is out. Simone Fontecchio, who's a big catch and shoot guy, might be out too. Honestly, I kind of want Simone to play because, like I said, the Pacers are pretty good against catch and shoot guys, but they let the number one option go crazy. And Cade, last 4 Pacers, 22, 31, 23, and 30 points. And you see the field goal attempts on the screen, a lot of shots in there. His actually last 2 games, 0 free throw attempts, which that probably changes today. And I just think that this is a spot where Cade can get up and actually get to his shots. And we know the Pacers, not a good defensive team. I think we'll get those open opportunities. And after a couple down games, I expect him to play better. And this season, well, since the All-Star break, obviously, right around in mid-February, 22 players have attempted at least 16 shots versus the Pacers. 15 of 22, about 68%, hit this over. Of the 7 that went under, 5 of them shot 35% or worse. And then the other 2 were Raptors on the same exact team where you had to split volume with the guys. So, look, the Pacers defense has not been good all season long, especially not been good since the All-Star break, since dealing away Bruce Brown. This team just, I don't think, has an answer for Cade, and they're also a really good team at limiting assists. So I think Cade's going to have to do his job. Also worth noting, Cade has been on, a weird, not minutes restriction, but they have been monitoring his minutes. He obviously missed their last game in Boston, taking on the Celtics, while the rest of his teammates played. This game is a game where he hasn't played since, Sunday? Should be easily in line for 30 to 35 minutes, and I think that's enough to score 22 or heck even 25 to 30 points against the bad Pacers defense. So give me Cade Cunningham, my best bet of the day, his over in points at 21.5. But look, you got a spread pick for the people out there. Some bad beats on your last few, but I'm confident you get it going today. You're backing a team at home. Which team's that going to be?
Yeah, I'm taking a team that I don't think I've really touched this far into the year, but it's the Phoenix Suns, -8, -110 odds on DraftKings. Currently your best value there. Scared money don't make money, right? Especially this time of year in basketball. And I know playing the Suns can be scary, especially on the spread. I would play this one at 8.5 as well, if that's where your line is. The Suns are a team I rarely want to back, but there's such a contrast of styles between these two teams tonight, between the Sixers and Suns. I actually do really want to back them, and I want to test to see, can they rise to the occasion here, because Philly has trouble scoring. And if that's the case tonight, Phoenix should be able to get the win and cover. I know what I know about the Sixers team. The Sixers won 112 to 100 back in November, but there was a key guy missing for the Sixers back then. Yeah, Mr. Joel Embiid was playing in that game. He's not playing in this game. So we know the Suns are bad defensively, which is why they're 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 home games. You're not going to cover a whole lot of games when you can't get the stops, especially in the fourth quarter where the cover's decided. That's kind of been, unfortunately, the weakness of this Phoenix Suns team. But today, they're facing a Sixers team who's only averaging 102.2 points per game in their last 10 games. I mean, look, it's like the unstoppable force, a movable object. Terrible offense, a defense that's streaky sometimes. I think today Phoenix shows up in a big way. By comparison, Phoenix is averaging 114 points in their last 10 games. Solid offense. We know there's such a discrepancy on offense, and I just have to trust Phoenix to overwhelm Philly on that side of the ball. Look, simply put, I mean, this could go from a 5-point game to a 10-point game in a matter of a minute, especially with the capable scores that Phoenix has. Outside of Tyrese Maxey, I don't trust a single other Sixers player to show up consistently. It's really the Tyrese Maxey show a lot of the time when you're watching this Sixers team, and that's good for him. But it's just not a balanced attack. It's not really how I think you cover an 8-point game like that on the road. Philly is 24th on the road in 3-point percentage. Their spacing is also a problem. I've watched the Sixers team before. There's just guys standing in the same areas as the other guys. They're just not a cohesive unit. Like I said, it's a lot of times just Maxey doing his thing, and a bunch of guys just standing around watching. I'm gonna call it how I see it. I live in Philadelphia. I've heard it and seen it. Philadelphia also 26 in threes made. If they're trailing in this game, do I trust them to be able to have the 3-point shooting to get them back in this game? No, I don't. So I'm looking forward. Grayson Allen, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker to shoot well from 3 today, as the Suns are 9th in 3-point percentage at home. This game and cover will be decided in the fourth quarter, which is where Phoenix is just 28th in fourth quarter points scored. This is why they're so bad against the spread, especially recently. I mean, Austin was like, you do know that Phoenix's fourth quarter struggles, and I had to go put some numbers on, and I'm like, yes, I do. I know what we're up against. But to say they're due a game of all 4 quarters scoring is an understatement, because I think you should be able to get it against the Sixers team. I think they can put it all the pieces together. I think they can get the win and cover today against a Sixers team that, outside of Tyrese Maxey, I couldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Give me Phoenix -8 as my best spread pick of the day. But Austin, tossing it back to you for props.
Yeah, look, and like you said, I have a prop in this game, and it's going to be on the guy you just kind of talked a lot about him, on Tyrese Maxey's over in points, for a lot of the different reasons that you came up with. And while I'm not saying that, hey, the Suns -8 can't hit and that this Tyrese Maxey's over can't hit, because honestly, I kind of see a very similar game to one they just played a few weeks ago. They played against Boston, obviously a faster playing team than themselves. They lost by 18 points. In that game, Tyrese Maxey had 32 points. It was kind of a, hey, we're going to overwhelm you offensively, and that's basically the nature of the game. The Sixers just don't have a ton of scoring options. So I love the Suns -8 because I really think that kind of goes hand in hand with Maxey's over, because they need Maxey to score a lot of points to keep up with them. And if the Suns are leading late into this game, Tyrese Maxey is going to be the guy that's going to have to go out there and go into takeover mode. So I really do think these honestly could hit hand in hand. But let's talk about Maxey and why I like him, who's kind of found a groove recently. This is a good matchup against the Phoenix Suns. And even if the Suns are blowing him out, we know Nick Nurse is not afraid of playing his stars a ton of minutes. And Maxey should be locked into 36 to 40 minutes unless the Suns are up by 50. And in that case, we'll take a wash at 1-1 on this game. But like I said, Maxey, 30 points on the dot, exactly, in 3 straight games. That's been against the Bucks, Hornets, and Heat. The only good matchup in there was against the Bucks, and he played really pretty well in that one. But the Hornets and Heat, tough matchups, still got it done in the volumes there. 23, 20, 24 field goal attempts, plus an additional 3, 12, and 5 free throw attempts. Obviously, Maxey, like Logan kind of touched on it, a guy that drives to the hoop a lot, and sometimes his teammates are just kind of standing out there. And you know when he passes to his teammates, some of them are not going to shoot the ball, and I'll talk with those guys in a second. But look, the volume has just been elite for Maxey, and I think this matchup is against the Suns is a good one. Now, obviously, the matchups against the Hornets and Heat, tough ones there, but against the Suns, a team that hasn't really played well defensively, like Logan touched on, and I think they're going to let Maxey go out there and do his thing. I don't see them throwing double teams at him, and we've seen opposing stars have big games against the Suns, a team that does not really double team a lot. 17 of the last 19 players to attempt 20 or more shots versus Phoenix. I've hit this over. That is a ridiculous number. Maxi's last 2 games versus Phoenix, 37 and 22 points. Obviously, Embiid played in both of those 2 games. And so I think this is just a game where, hey, if Maxi doesn't show up, Suns -8 should cash pretty easily. But outside of him, who else is going to score for him? Tobias Harris has been on the injury report. Will he play? I don't know. Honestly, I think Sixers fans are kind of hoping he doesn't play because the last 2 games they've won without Tobias. Obviously, those have been at home instead of on the road. But even if he does play, he's sucked. Kelly Oubre Jr. is really the only guy in the starting lineup with usage outside of Maxey. And if Tobias doesn't play, think about the guys that are starting with him. Bo Bamba, he looks afraid to shoot the ball. Then you got like Kyle Lowry and obviously Nicholas Batum if Tobias sits. So all those 3 guys don't want to shoot the basketball, and even the guys off the bench aren't very high usage guys. So, like, at the end of the day, I like Maxey to get it done and have a ton of volume. If he wants to go out there and shoot 30 times and shoot very inefficiently, but still cover the points line and give us a Suns -8 so we can go 2-0 in this game, I'm certainly okay with that. So I really like Maxey, really like Logan's pick at Suns -8. Feels like at worst we can get at least a 1-1 in that game. And honestly, I think there's a very good chance we go 2-0 if the Suns can get up early and Maxey's kind of having to go into takeover mode in that second half. But let's move on to the 3rd or 4th play of the video. And this was one I really like. I think it's a sneaky prop that I think a lot of people will not be on. And it's Gary Trent Jr. of the Toronto Raptors over 19.5 points, -115 on Bet365. Now, if this does get a little bit too juiced and maybe lines move to 20.5, I'm cool there. If you want to take a 20+ points line, which a lot of books will offer, you can take that. If you want to parlay that with Gary Trent Jr. to make 3 threes, you can take that to maybe reduce the juice, because I'll be honest, there's no way Gary Trent Jr. goes over this line and doesn't make at least 3 threes. At least that's my opinion. If he's breaking a lot of threes and somehow cooking in the mid-range, I won't complain. But we look at Gary Trent Jr. and this Raptors team. They're at home taking on the Kings. Now, the Kings are a team that, I'll be honest, they have not, they've been very up and down the season, especially on the road. And honestly, if the Kings or the Raptors have any chance of covering the 10.5 or 11-point spread, it comes down to Gary Trent Jr. Because we look at the Raptors, they just added Emmanuel quickly to their injured list. He's out. Now, him is not due to injury. He's due to personal reasons, but he's not projected to play here. This is a team that really needs guys to score. And we've seen over the last 4 games, Gary Trent Jr. scored 30, 23, 31, and 15 points on 22, 26, and then 17 and 12 field goal attempts. Now, his last 2 have been tough matchups versus the Orlando Magic. Not only are the Magic one of the slowest playing teams in the NBA, they also don't give up a lot of catch and shoot opportunities. We know that the Magic, I think, give up the fewest catch and shoot 3 attempts and the fewest catch and shoot 3s made. Now, obviously, Gary cooked them once with 31. Then the next game, they kind of adjusted and limited him to 15 points on 12 shots. Obviously, it helped having Quickly in there to kind of run the offense, but without Quickly in there, I think they're going to need Gary to run a lot of plays for him and kind of come off some screens and be aggressive. And Gary is not a guy that really gets the ball and facilitates an offense. It's not his go-to. He's the guy that's shooting the ball, and I think he's going to get his opportunities against the Kings team that is very middle of the pack defensively. And we've seen this season, Gary Trent Jr. scored 20 or more points in 6 of 9 games when he shot at least 15 times, including 6 of his last 7. With all these guys out, sure, they're going to put in some new guys like Ochai Agbaji and those kind of guys in there. Maybe Jordan Nwora, Bruce Brown gets some more minutes, but Gary Trent Jr. is the number 1 guy out there, and he doesn't have just a green light. I think Darvin Ham said D'Angelo Russell has a green room. That's basically what Gary Trent Jr. will have tonight. It's going to be like, yo, we need you to show up. And at home, I like him to shoot a little bit better. And if you look at his other props, he is -300 or worse to make at least 3 threes tonight. So that'd be 9 points. And if you look at his over in threes at 3.5, juice to the over. Their team totals at 110.5, a number they haven't sniffed in 3 straight. Also, the Kings have not played a real road game since like March 6th. That was against the Lakers. If you talk about a game outside of their state, it's been since March 1st. Would it surprise anyone if maybe the Kings come into this game and they're a little lackadaisical on defense? Like, you know what? This is a Raptors team missing their 1, 2, 3, 4 best player. I mean, they're missing a ton of guys. I think this is a spot where I like to trust Gary Trent Jr. to deliver. Give me his over in points. And the 5th and final play of the day will be the Daily Double. Day 2 will be posted later on today. Yesterday we cashed out. We put 1 unit on it, as always, at +112. We also threw $10 on it to roll over and try to hit 10 straight to turn it into 10 grand. So today we got $20 to play with. It'll be live later on today. I don't know what time because I do like to sometimes wait for the injury reports to come out, but I do know it will be live later on at the latest early afternoon. But those are our favorite picks of the day. 5 of them. Let's bounce back. We've had some bad breaks the last few days, but hopefully, today is a turning of the tide, and hopefully we can go 4-1, 5-0. That'd be great for the 5s and the momentum on the channel. Like I said, the Daily Double Day 2 will be live later on today. When that YouTube short is live, I'll link it on the screen as well. You guys have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll see you guys later on today for an MLB video. We'll see you guys in that one. But Austin Logan signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.